Shalom, it's Rabbi David Barron with a Torah Talk. Before I jump into the understanding of the Torah portion and events in our world, I'd like to remind everyone that at the end of this month, April 30th, we will be holding a citywide observance of Israel's Independence Day. That's April 30th at 6 p.m. Please put it in your calendars and check our website for the QR code, because you must RSVP. There's no charge, but you must RSVP, and we want to have plenty of room for the members of our temple, together with all the fabulous organizations that are co-sponsoring this citywide celebration of Israel. And we really need to come together and celebrate Israel. Also, May 3rd, we have a wonderful concert being put on by Larry Post, and it's two rock and roll groups from the 70s that you will enjoy. So take a look at our website, templeofthearts.org, for that information. And we'll hold the opening night of the Los Angeles Jewish Film Festival here at our Temple Savan Theater. So we want you to come and be a part of all of these great events. And don't forget our Shabbat service, May 15th. That will be a shared service with the Latino community. And Bishop Juan Carlos Mendez will be coming in with a mariachi band and people from this wonderful community of churches in action. Don't miss that celebration, May 15th, and that's at 8 p.m. here at your Temple of the Arts. We want you to be a part of all of this. Now, this week, the Torah portion is about, believe it or not, the laws of leprosy. And it's a tough portion to make sense out of. In fact, there are many juicy Torah portions like the Ten Commandments or love your neighbor as yourself. And of course, my son Jonathan drew this portion for his bar mitzvah. And he said, "Dad, that's not fair. I'm the rabbi's son. Can't I have a more interesting portion?" But actually, if you delve a bit into the Tazria Metzora, the combined Torah portion dealing with the laws of leprosy, you realize that it speaks about a skin disease or a series of diseases of the skin that in ancient times many believed were the result of speaking negatively or gossiping, and how terrible that sin was, to speak ill of another person. In fact, the Torah says that 3 people are harmed by gossip: the person speaking the gossip, the person about whom the gossip is spoken, and the person listening to the gossip. So it's considered a three-way sin, a three-way loss, loss, loss. So we're admonished to avoid gossiping and tale-bearing about other people. Now, we're not perfect. Sometimes people read about something in the press or the media and they can't help repeating it. But at the end of the day, especially when it's about somebody within your circle of family or friends, it's very important that we be cautious and diligent about not gossiping. And actually, this has bearing on what's happening in our world today. Horrible, blasphemous things have been said about the state of Israel, especially during this time of war. That Israel started the war in Lebanon, when it's so clear that Hezbollah has been firing over 6,000 rockets into northern Israel, displacing over 50,000 citizens. I know as Americans, we would never tolerate 6,000 rockets being fired into one of the states or a number of states in our nation. Also, the lie of genocide, which has been laid bare, genocide in Gaza. It's not true. It's a blatant lie. It's gossip of the worst form, because when it's repeated again and again, gullible people, ill-informed people believe it. So we have a role to play there too, not just in stopping gossip. And it's interesting, a friend of mine said, when I hear someone talking about someone else, I say, wait a minute, stop, I don't want to hear that. And our position might be, if we hear this kind of negative spokespeople speaking about what's happening in the Middle East and we know better, we should not only stop it, we should correct it to the best of our ability. So that's something we're charged to do, because the tradition teaches us, Kol Yisrael Arevim, all of Israel, all of the Jewish people are responsible for one another. And when we do that, we uphold and we strengthen our belief in who we are and that the Jewish people are entitled to live in peace in their own homeland. And I'm so proud of our nation standing side by side with Israel to finally eliminate the threat of Iran. Iran is a world sponsor of terrorism, not just through Iran itself, but through its proxies. And none of us can forget the kind of treachery that the Iranians have perpetrated upon others and even upon their own people. Over 30,000 slaughtered who were standing up and protesting against the regime. We have to unite and take a stand. At our Temple Passover Seder, which was attended by over 140 members and friends that we held last month, that Seder, earlier this month, that Seder, at that Seder, I invited a special guest, a woman, Elham Yagubian, who came from Iran around the year 2000, and she spoke about her contact and communication with men and women from her family and circle of friends who are still in Tehran, still in Iran. They hunger for freedom. On the holiday of freedom, which is Pesach, we recognize that freedom has to be fought for in every generation. It cannot be taken for granted. We, each of us, have a responsibility here. So I hope and pray as we join together with prayers for the men and women of the armed forces of our nation, defending freedom, and for the soldiers of the state of Israel, we send that prayer off to them, that God watch over them and protect them and shield them and keep them safe, that we also unite together as one nation, as one people, to do God's will with a perfect heart. Shabbat Shalom.